Dinner for shoes, please.
Let's be real. When you hear clarity, it's usually about the diamond. But the process of buying one is anything but clear. At Ritani, we break it all down. What to pick and why. We show you everything. Pricing, our markup, the stuff other jewelers don't want you to see. Ritani, we bring true clarity. No confusion, no BS. Just the right ring at the right price.
Hello and welcome to an episode of Dinner for Shoes. Am I more centered now? I think so. I love that they're in it. They're by the cats. So I wanted to reposition the sign, the neon sign, which I still don't know how to operate. I have the remote here and I still press the buttons and I don't know. All I know how to do is plug it in, and when I plug it in, it turns on. So I just leave it like that. We're just going to leave it like that. Again, Nick can help, but Tech Advisor is not always on set. So today's episode, I'm really excited about. So many great things happening today. We talked to the Wealth of a Woman founders, Teresa J.W. Bailey and Lauren Reed Williams. They basically founded a course to teach women about money. They educate their clients with grace, with empathy, and it is a beautiful thing. We're going to talk a little bit more about it. I thought that this outfit gave old money, knows about her finances. And I really like it because it's bright yellow. It's really beautiful. It's also from Abercrombie and Fitch. We'll get into the outfit behind the shoes. Today's episode is sponsored by Ritani, and they just happen to be, if you didn't know, they're a jewelry brand. They happen to be part of the outfit behind the shoes. So I just had to mention that before we got going. We're going to talk a lot about them. We're going to talk about my outfit. We're going to talk about these awesome shoes, which also, again, give old money. It's a little bit more loud. The luxury's getting louder. They're not just a simple classic pump. They've got the black crisscross buckle, which, by the way, this buckle reminds me of when I'm at Solidcore. This is a tangent, of course. What else is new? And they tell you to cross your cords, cross the, are they called cords? Cross your straps, and then it gets even harder and more taut, and it's harder to operate the machine, Svetlana. And that scares me, but in a really cool, edgy way where I want to make it fashion. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, let's dive into the outfit behind the shoes. I am going to kind of do a quick little wardrobe shift as well. So this set is from Abercrombie and Fitch. Spoiler, I have a really cool yellow cropped short sleeve sweater under here, which you're going to see when I reveal my jewelry. But I will say I really like the way that this set looks by itself. I would probably, if I wasn't wearing jewelry, which I think the necklace that I'm wearing today just goes better with the short sleeve sweater than it does with obviously this jacket. If I wasn't wearing that, I probably would just wear the jacket without anything underneath. Also, then I wouldn't need a bra, but I had to put on a fucking bra today, which we all know how I feel about bras. Literally hate them. And it comes with this cute mini skirt. So I'm going for a monochrome moment. Nick just walked in and was like, "Oh, my banana." And I'm like, "Yes, you're a banana." And I will say that I am even wearing a yellow hanky-panky underneath all of this to go with the banana outfit. When I put it on, I was just oh, I wish I could see my face, selecting my yellow thong out of my drawer, which has the thong. Anyone who knows what a hanky-panky is and knows how lacy it is and has cats, you know that the cat hair sometimes gets tangled up in the lace and then it comes out of the laundry and it's is this a thong? What is this? That's my situation. Yeah, cat hair rules my life. So, on top of that, I am also wearing these Zara. Didn't say that they were from Zara, but they are. These Zara edgy, reminds me of Solidcore pumps. I'm obsessed with them. They are so comfortable. I've already worn them out, and I will say, sometimes I do have issues with blisters, especially when I'm going with a pointed toe and a slingback where your foot is in place. But when I put these on the tightest position, they did me very well, and I enjoy them. They also make me feel rich, which this conversation makes me feel rich with knowledge, I should say, because Teresa and Lauren just know so much about finances and just how to manage them as a woman. And definitely our conversation made me feel empowered, which is how this outfit makes me feel. So I was going for that. And then on top of that, I just thought the shoes and the bag looked so good together. Did you see me hit my mouth with the bag strap? This is a Stella McCartney Ryder bag. I love the shape. Right now, to me, if you're gonna like invest in a new bag, a designer bag with a really unique shape, all black, so good. So this is the Stella McCartney Ryder. I am currently borrowing it for this month from Fashion File. You may see it again. I love her. I like that she is big enough to fit all of my essentials, some of which I want to talk about to you right now, which are my Ritani. I'll keep her close. I'll keep my Ryder close. My Ritani jewelry. So I think now would be a good time for the outfit shift because I really want you to get the full experience of my jewelry. And I think I talked about everything else. Not wearing any rings today, by the way. We're focusing on earrings and necklaces and bracelet. Okay, so I'm unbuttoning this, which I love this jacket. Now, before I take it off, I do also want to say that you're about to see when you go and listen to my Wealth of a Woman conversation with Teresa and Lauren that Teresa loves jackets, and she talks about how jackets are kind of like her splurge item. Like she can't help but kind of like collect them in every color. They, I think, make her feel empowered and bold. And so I just also wore this jacket as a little like style wink to her. And also because the food that I'm trying today is Lauren's favorite food, but I did tie Teresa's favorite food into Lauren's favorite food, and you're gonna see the way I did that. But I wanted to make sure I was like paying ode to my special guests the way I always do, in the best way possible. So this jacket was also like an ode to Teresa in that way. Now here's the outline of my bra, fuck bras. Now you can see my jewelry, and I really wanna talk to you about Ritani today, just because I'm obsessed with this jewelry and because it is like Valentine's Day is coming up, which I think is equally as important of a holiday to buy things for yourself as it is to potentially get engaged. Like obviously, everyone gets super excited when it comes to Valentine's Day. They're in a relationship. They've been in the relationship for a long time. Like our shoe therapy call that we're going to talk about later is actually related to that. And, you know, I want to talk about some quality jewelry brands. Now, Ritani, I have a lot to say, but the first is just that I love the way the jewelry comes. I'm obsessed with it. So I actually feel like this is where my chain link necklace like came in this little booklet. And I don't know, there's something about like opening your jewelry in this way that makes it feel like, wow, I invested in this piece and it makes sense that I invested in this piece because look at the quality that I am receiving. And then that sound, love that sound. You know what I'm saying? Ritani is known for their service when it comes to engagement rings, customizing rings. They do lab-grown diamonds. What they're really known for is how upfront they are about pricing. They literally tell you how much it costs them to get the diamond, how much it costs them to produce the piece. There are no surprises. There are no games. You can ask them so many questions. They're great with customer service. You can literally go so far as to customize a ring and then find a jeweler near you to check out that ring, see if you like it. There's zero pressure. If you don't like it, you don't have to buy it. They're just very real. And I really like that about Ritani. And, you know, obviously their jewelry is an investment and they do engagement rings. They're known for that. Like I said, the lab grown diamonds, but they also have everyday jewelry, which also can be an investment. And that's what I'm wearing today. Ritani has natural and lab-grown diamonds. Like I said, they have pearls, they have beautiful metals, and they are all ethically sourced, which is also super important. And like I said, these are great gifts to get yourself for Valentine's Day. This is the 14 karat gold rib link necklace, okay? This is absolutely beautiful. I like the way it falls on my chest and it falls flat. The same with the bracelet that goes with it. This bracelet is also 14 karat gold. It's the gold rib link bracelet. These pieces are so elegant to me. These are the type of pieces that you invest in. I wanted to wear them today just to show that it is okay. And honestly, Teresa and Lauren and I talk about this in our interview. It is encouraged to invest in something if you want to make it part of your lifestyle. What has to happen first is considering the type of lifestyle you want to have, considering your finances, and honestly, like kind of painting it into the narrative. And so I think when it comes to gold jewelry like this, at least for me, I'm a gold jewelry person. These would be investment pieces that I would wear for the rest of my life. They will not go out of style. It's instead of purchasing Amazon piece after Amazon piece, maybe that tarnishes or that you lose, that's not as important to you, that you aren't only wearing on special occasions. And then all of that is money down the drain. So today's conversation should inspire you to kind of like go that route. And I think with this necklace and bracelet piece, like that is exactly what I'm doing here. I do also want to talk about these really unique earrings that I have. Being a gold and silver jewelry person, I often find it challenging to mix metals, and the hoops that I am wearing today help me pull that off. So I went for a little earring party. I have the 14 karat gold, 15 millimeter small double two-tone open hoop earrings. I know that's a mouthful, but that is the one earring that I'm wearing all the way to the left. And then the ones that I've got both in, these are the 14 karat gold two-tone side-by-side hoop earrings, where the gold is a little bit longer than the silver one. And I went with that just because gold is my preferred metal. And then on the right side of my ear, since I have so many piercings, I couldn't not talk about these puffed love knot stud earrings, which I've actually worn already. I wore them recently with actually a sporty look. I think these are so cool. Also very old money, like that quiet luxury knot look that literally everyone has going on right now. I really like the idea of wearing these studs with like even a sporty look, just plain and simple, really sleek and elegant. And I think that these are sophisticated. And I think that all of these pieces are the type of investment pieces that you consider when you go to purchase jewelry for yourself. Now, of course, these also make great Valentine's Day gifts. If, I don't know, your partner maybe isn't planning on proposing to you, but you do love jewelry so much and you want something special. So I think that is what I have to say about Ritani. They are awesome, and I really think that you should check them out. I just appreciate how upfront they are about their production method and the way that they source their jewelry. A few more things about them is just that like their jewelry is ethically sourced. Your jewelry is authenticated every time. It's free to return. It's free to see, like I mentioned before. And they do price matching too when it comes to diamonds. They have a diamond price match guarantee, which I think is great. They have over 90,000 diamonds. And when you choose a diamond that you really like they're very upfront about where it came from. Actually, a lot of brands you'll notice when you're shopping for diamonds, they have pictures of their diamonds on the website, but they're not like the real diamond. Ritani has taken the time to carefully photograph each and every one of the diamonds. So the pictures that you're seeing on the website, even though they look almost like they could be fake, they're the real diamonds that you're actually getting. You also get a warranty for life. So literally any repair that you need on your jewelry, they got it for you. I do also think it's super important to talk about not just their customer service team, but the fact that they are creating jobs. So this is very important, and you can read about this on Ritani's site. Namibia's economy was weakened and unstable from the diamond industry. So something that Ritani thinks is very important to do is provide jobs in Namibia. I'm just going to read a little segment from their website because I think this is really unique and it was really special and it made me take pause. Namibia's economy was weakened and unstable from the diamond industry. Even though rough diamonds were one of their main exports, Namibia's rough diamonds sold far less than the cut and polished versions did in Europe. Ritani decided to turn this around by creating more jobs in Namibia. In 2008, Ritani built a factory in Windhoek, I think I'm pronouncing that right, the nation's capital, to sort and cut diamonds. This factory has provided better paying jobs for the community and has strengthened its economy. And in addition to creating more jobs for communities in Namibia, Julius Klein Group has donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to various human rights groups, including an orphanage that houses over 30 children. So this is all super important to the brand, and another reason why I just really love them. I love a brand that gives back. Before I introduce Teresa J.W. Bailey and Lauren Reed Williams, who founded Wealth of a Woman, and you listen to our engaging conversation about the importance of taking back power when it comes to money as a woman, I just want to mention a few things that Lauren and Teresa are very quick to mention when it comes to educating women. What is so crazy is that it is currently, well, in 2024, at the end of 2024, the 50th anniversary of the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, ECOA, was celebrated. That means that women did not have the right to their own credit without a man's signature on it until 20. Okay. Until when? I don't know. 50 years before 2024. Fuck. Was 1974. So it was 1974 when women were finally able to literally get their own line of credit, which is insane. And fast forward to 2025, the year we are in now. I love the information I'm about to share with you. Lauren and Teresa shared it with me, but I also did some further reading on it on these two articles that I'm going to link. One is Bloomberg and one is McKinsey. And I got so excited when I read this. So by 2030, okay, it's 2025 right now. That's 5 years. I couldn't do the math before, but I can do the math now. That's 5 years. By 2030, women will control $34 trillion in US assets, which is roughly 38% of investable assets. When I read that and I did some reading, like I just mentioned, and Nick came in the room, I was like, did you know that women will control? So women are huge game players when it comes to money and investing. And that is what Lauren and Teresa are very excited to share with their clients. And the reason why they know it is important to teach women about how to manage their money. They offer a course. It is 6 sessions and it is free for women to download and learn about their money. And they do this all with empathy, with the access to therapists, with conversation, with the knowledge that other women are sitting there alongside you, also wanting to learn how to better manage their funds. So go ahead and take a listen to the Wealth of a Woman interview. You will love Teresa and Lauren, and we'll be right back. Wealth of a Woman was founded on a mission to redefine women's relationship with money, which is a topic that I would like to learn more about. What inspired you both to get into this? Was there like a moment of passion that sparked the idea?
Yes, actually, it was an email that I sent Lauren at, I don't know, like 4:30 in the morning, because I'm a morning gal. And so she responded to that email probably
like 10, because I'm not.
Well, and what led up to the moment of me sending the email is I had put together a presentation for her team, which is all women in their late 20s, early 30s, about the history of women and our right to own property. And it was shocking. Not many, I didn't know, not many of them knew, if any, that it's only been 50 years that we've actually had access to credit in our names alone without a husband or father or brother co-signing. So I gave that presentation to her team. We were communicating about just their conversations after I left that day. And it just became obvious to me that Lauren and I were a really good fit and we should do something together. So she responded, and I'll let you talk about what it was like to receive the email, but we didn't know what it would become. We just knew we were going to do something.
Yeah, from my perspective, so I run a PR and marketing agency, and personal finance has always been a passion of mine, and it really came from my anxiety around money. So I was in a place where I'm 42 years old now, and I'm like, I've got to get this figured out. I need a healthier relationship with money. And when Teresa emailed me, I immediately like, I'm in. We didn't know what we were going to do about it, but we knew we had to do something. Like, God had put it on my heart that I'm supposed to do something about this. Teresa felt the same way. And we realized pretty quickly that October 28th of 2024 was the actual 50-year anniversary. And, so my marketing brain just started spinning. Yeah. Okay, this is the year. And then, Teresa, why don't you talk about why the urgency to us doing something?
Yeah. So this is so important because by the year 2030, women will control the majority of the investable wealth in the country. So for thousands of years, we were not allowed any access to our own property because, frankly, we were property. And all of a sudden now we're going to be responsible for investing and managing this capital. So one of the behavioral things that I noticed that caused me to do the research was my clients that are entrepreneurial women. There was this disconnect between how confident they were with their business financials and then how much they felt they needed to consult a man on their personal financials. So we're still in the pocket of thinking that we need everybody else to answer um, questions about our own money. But really, I think what we need is to build our confidence and understand that our values need to align with our financials. And that's really Lauren's sweet spot. Like she loves to have the what are your values around money conversation.
Yes, absolutely.
That is incredible. And it sounds like you two partnered together so well. So that is great. Now let's talk a little bit about what program you developed. And if you can kind of give us a teaser into what that looks like. Like if I wanted to learn about how to manage my finances or have a better relationship with money, where are you recommending that women start?
So we do have a completely free online course. Because what we realized is the first step of creating your budget and determining where you're going to spend your money and where you're going to get the best ROI is really knowing what you want your life to look like and what is your own definition of wealth, right? My definition might be very different from Teresa's. It's actually not. We're very aligned in that way. But everyone has different life goals, different situations. You might have kids and it's a goal of yours to fund their education, or you might not have children and that's not even on your radar, right? So we all have different goals in life. And what I like to do is start with your core values and like, what are your personal core values? And then you have this litmus test to kind of work with when you're making a financial choice. So what we've created is it's a 6-week, it's about a 1 hour a week course. We have groups of women going through it together. We have women going through it on their own. It's a completely free online course. And we start with the history of women and money. Teresa does a great job diving into, so many of us don't realize what our female ancestors went through when it came to money. Hence creating lots of anxiety, that's been passed down and down and down. And we are the generation who's going to stop it. We know that. But so the second course, we look at our financial lifeline. Like, is there an event that happened in your childhood that perhaps, has informed your views on money today? Me personally, I came from an entrepreneurial household, but it was a very much feast or famine, environment. Either the lights are off or we were living large. It was never steady. So that then in turn creates a lot of anxiety with me today. After that, we really talk about creating your community. We talk about setting healthy boundaries with family members who might have values than you. And really, we wrap it all up with what is your definition of wealth and how do you move on from here? So again, it's completely free, nothing to lose. We've been getting great feedback from the women going through it. And I was just so grateful for all the amazing women, subject matter experts who joined us on this journey.
Yeah. So just speaking to that, we have a sociologist professor, a trauma therapist. We have wonderful entrepreneur women, an Enneagram
expert.
So many women who we were able to tease information out of and how their expertise relates to women and their relationship with money.
Yeah, that sounds so incredible. And I think just the fact that you're bringing in all of these really relatable experiences, like maybe like how you grew up, because that's something that like I don't really think about a lot. How did my parents view money? How did my mom view money? Like, and how does that affect the way that I view money? And I think, making your course relatable in that way, like making sure you have a sociologist there, a therapist, like that makes women feel more comfortable and maybe confident, especially because they're among other women who are going through the same thing. So I think that that's great. Because we're a fashion podcast and we obviously talk about shopping a lot, do you touch at all on shopping and kind of like going about making those leisurely purchases? And what is like the general advice that you give in that realm?
Yeah, I think in the course, the recorded course, the way that we cover that is really coming up with the things that matter most to you. In conversations that we have in groups that relate to the course, the conversation is a lot sort of like your Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Women really need to come up with their hierarchy of spend and self-care. Me personally, I work with a woman who's a stylist. I don't have time to go do all the shopping. So for me, that's base base spend for me is, I need help putting my outfits together because I still want to show up. Lauren probably has a very different outlook on shopping. Hers is more upbeat here.
My most expensive outfits are ski or running outfits. Yeah. But no, and so Caitlin, the stylist who Teresa has mentioned, she's so lovely and she'd actually be a wonderful guest for you in the future. But I had a conversation about this because I'm like, what do I even spend on clothes? I don't know. I got to show up. I'm meeting with people. I like, a kind of more of a statement piece. And then I'll like wear kind of more basic other things. I don't know. I'm really, it's laughable that I'm sitting here on a fashion podcast, if I'm being honest.
I think the most important part of the way that we frame it is to be calm. I think so many of us are moving so fast. We have our phones and we have our social lives and our work lives. And there's not really an intentional thought of looking at the spend cumulatively in what clothes are you putting on your body? What products are you putting in your hair? What makeup are you putting on your face? And what does that spend add up to?
And we always underestimate it. Always.
Oh.
I mean, I have left, National Cosmetic Surgery, who's a lovely sponsor of this course, actually. And I've sent Teresa a Marco Polo, and it's just like, holy moly. I just spent, and I had come from the hair salon. So like to see them both, same day, I was like, is this normal? Oh my gosh. And I think as women,
we don't talk
and
about
our husbands don't have to spend, or our partners aren't out there spending that same kind of money. So for me, created like that, is this luxury? It's just as women, we are expected to, get our facials and make sure our highlights are taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It shows it does contribute to the bottom line, right?
Yes. If you don't show up, makeup on, hair done, and you just, take the, who is it that has gone makeup free? Pamela Anderson. It's the way for the rest of us. But up to the point this study was done, if you choose to not look the part, your income's going to take a hit. So we already have to work harder to earn less. We have to spend more to show up the way that we want to. And, some of the data shows that for the same white t-shirt, women spend more than men. That pink tax that you hear about.
Mm-hmm.
So it adds up to a lot. So placing some intention around the spends that make you happy so that you can let go of the ones that don't. Like for me, it's lashes. I don't spend money on lash extensions because I'm aggravated during the time that it takes to get them done. So I'm going to be lashless, and I'm okay with that.
Having these conversations gives women permission, to not feel guilty about taking care of yourself. If you want to show up feeling put together, and that means you're not buying your outfit at Target or whatever, it's okay. I at least, when I saw that stat, I'm like, okay, it's not just a splurge. So many things that are expected of women are kind of looked at as splurges.
That is very, very true. I think that these are great points that you're making. And I also think that this kind of speaks to the next topic that I wanted to touch on, which is just, so we see these memes and these TikTok reels all the time, maybe what you were just referencing. And there can be a lot of misinformation spread. So maybe it's a funny meme about I'm looking at my bank account, I'm looking at all the splurges that and we see those all the time, and those are funny. But there can also be people on the internet that are spreading misinformation. How do you feel about other people out there that are talking about finance? Have you ever seen any clips that worry you because it's not what you preach, or it's not the correct understanding? And kind of what do you do then to kind of negate that in your own life?
Yeah. So in my non-wealthful woman job, I'm a financial advisor. So my clients are interacting with me about things they see, as I'll say, out in the wild. And lately, TikTok has become a much hotter topic of conversation than I would have thought. And I can speak to it in both positive and negative. The positive is, yes, people are talking about it, right? That's amazing. Just for people to be communicating about their money and having conversations with each other. I mean, that is a step up. What's not okay is if they're making investment decisions
Right.
based on TikTok reels. Everybody, I think, needs a clear understanding that that is not a regulated form of communication. So anything can be said and it doesn't have to be true. And that's one of the things about, my industry is that it's very heavily regulated. We can't even use adjectives in the marketing that we do. We have to be able to prove it. So it's great that there's more conversation. It's not so great if people are actually making investment decisions based on it.
And that goes back to, the section in our course about creating your community and who do you have these conversations with and who do you bounce these ideas off of, like having a financial professional who can say to you, because look, guilty, she's my financial advisor, I sent her Instagram stories, should I be doing this?
Like, that's like 60% right. There's like these two things you need to think about.
Or like, no, that impacts that task bracket, not yours. Like, nothing is a one size fits all approach. The taboo is being removed from the conversation.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's very important to keep in mind, especially when you're being sent those reels or you just see them out there. So in the beginning of this talk, we did kind of touch on the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, which gave women the right to access credit independently. And the fact that it's only 50 years old is literally mind-boggling. So what do you think are the most important financial rights that women are still fighting for today, separately from that?
The thing that I want to see more of is women being heard for what it is that they're saying. I think that now we have access. We're probably still on the fringe when it comes to real estate deals are great. That's a great area to talk about. We're not yet known for wanting to be a part of investment conversations. Right. So even when we show interest, we're still not exactly allowed into that conversation.
Right. Yeah. And I don't have the stats in front of me, but a very limited number of like private equity and capital goes to women owned businesses and female entrepreneurs.
Single digit,
for sure. And part of it is because women don't ask as much as men do. So I want to be clear about that. So as women, we need the confidence and to empower each other. But, the men need to bring the women into these deals as well and just provide opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like just because we are a fashion podcast and I want to make sure that we like touch on that topic as much as possible, fashion and finance, like they do both reflect personal values, like you kind of talked about in the beginning of our conversation. So when you think about building like a sustainable and empowered wardrobe, what do you think women should be focusing on when it comes to like investment pieces? And maybe what tips do you give to them when they say, well, I need this, and this if I, want to be empowered and I want to do well in my job, when they come to you with that conundrum?
For me, it's all about, how much time do you have invest in creating that plan? How much money do you have to spend on those statement and investment pieces? And really to try to uncover, is this something you're going to do on your own? I'm obviously, a big fan of outsourcing now because it saved me so much time and I get to show up looking exactly the way that I want. So I've decided to bring in an expert. Some women may want to take what they would spend on the expert and get another statement piece. So I think, again, it's about intention, being intentional with that part of your, I don't call it a budget. I call it spending plan because budgets seem really restrictive and spending plans.
You like spending plans?
People like to plan to spend money. So I think it's just about like really thinking through whether you like the creative process of doing it on your own, whether you want to pay for an expert.
Okay.
Yeah. And, for anybody who has a value for showing up, looking a certain way, I think they probably are going to have to also figure out what part of their spending plan needs to be trimmed down to make room in that area. And the other, I'll say this too, once you're done with those pieces, you don't have to just drop them in the trash. Also, what happens to those pieces after you're done, with them is another component of your spending plan as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talk a lot about sustainability on this podcast and kind of like the options you have to resell an item when you're done with it, or, to purchase an item from a sustainable retailer or a clothing rental app. And I think you're right to say that every woman is going to have like different priorities when it comes to their wardrobe and, how they go about making those decisions. But sometimes we do have impulse buys. So I had like the fun idea of asking you both, what was the last impulse buy that you made? But also, maybe if you could give some advice as to like, even though you made that impulse buy, when you have the panic mode afterwards, if you do, and you have that feeling of regret, how you recommend that your clients or the people that you teach go about like, making better decisions next time.
Do you want to go first?
I got a big ticket impulse buy. The story's so embarrassing. A few years ago, my husband and I were in Boston for a concert, and our flight got canceled. And we live in Nashville, and I've been looking for a new car anyways. So why not just buy a car in Boston and drive it home? Why not? Right?
This is so Lauren.
So I'm not a car person. I never, but I've always thought if I get a Rover, I'm gonna buy one. So I bought a Range Rover. After we buy it, they let us know we in fact cannot drive it home when you buy a car in another state. They knew our plans. They did not tell us that till the transaction was done. So we still had to get new flights. And now I have this Range Rover in Boston. It gets to me like 6 weeks later. I have to pay for shit, like all of the things. Oh my gosh. And I bought the car when my children were not with me. I have 4 kids, only 3 are still in the house. But I have 4 kids, and this Range Rover had white leather. A mom can't drive a car with white leather. This whole debacle of being stupid and buying a car I didn't need. So I drive it for a few months. I'm sick of like the panic of like, oh my God, my kids are getting fingerprints, all the things. So I just sold it and lost like $10,000 in value. But I'm just like, you know what? I can't. It was an impulse buy. It was stupid. So what did I learn from that is you got to sleep on it before you buy a car.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a great story. It's
And
funny and relatable.
A car might not be what really is your dream. I've learned now that I don't need a nice car. Or I don't need a luxury car. I went and bought a Subaru and I'm so happy. So I learned like, I thought I wanted that. I guess I don't.
Yep. I love that.
So I am like a jacket fanatic. Like, so when I go,
so many jackets.
That's where I'm going. So when I go, it's like, it varies season to season. And for me, it's the length of the jacket. I need a little bit longer jacket, and sometimes it's not in season. So when it is, I go jacket just bananas. I buy them all. And used to, I would let the jacket sit in my closet with the tags past the return date. And then I'd be like, oh, I'm going to find the right pant for that. And then I was just building this massive collection of jackets. Now, it's funny, one of the first things that I thought Lauren and I should do when we decided to start Wealthful Woman was go get our colors done.
Yes.
So we went to House of Color.
And now we both have closets full of black clothes we can't wear because black is not our color.
On my most recent jacket, I came back with all of these jackets, and there was this multicolored black with like multicolored threading. I think it might have been Veronica Beard. Anyway, I got home and I looked at it for 2 days and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to wear this jacket. Mm-hmm. And I was proud of myself. I went back to the store, and even though I loved it, I knew that black was just not my color. I'm more like browns look better on me.
So did you buy one instead?
Yeah.
Another one.
Color. But I think it's, you have your impulse buy, kind of like Lauren, and it turns into like a deep story. And then it's like, have your impulse buys, learn your lessons. What behavior are you going to change next time? And how are you going to trick your brain into doing something that feels better in the end? Because impulse buys are those late night Amazon or Instagram purchases are not going away.
Instagram purchases and email marketing gets me every time. And I'm a marketer.
Mm-hmm.
Should know better. That gets me every time.
Well, I was going to say that obviously there are great marketers out there who know how to do their jobs because it's very true. And TikTok specifically for me, I feel like I actually deleted it off my phone when it went away for a little while. So I don't have it now, but it was so easy to just be doom scrolling and literally like click this because it looks interesting and it ends up being an impulse buy. But I think what you touched on is important that, you know, you do learn these lessons and it helps you for next time. And I think there also is, speaking of TikTok and like the younger generation, just this like movement towards sustainability and more ethical consumption, which is great. Do you, in your research or in your work, find that women's financial decisions are evolving to reflect that shift towards sustainability?
100%. And I run a team full of women who are younger than me, so in their 20s and 30s, and it's a very, very big deal. I mean, even to the fact that like gal on my team, Brooke, who's just lovely, went through a sustainability program, brought it back to our office. We are now Urban Green Lab certified, and she sends out like fashion tips like every month, like here's some sustainability tips with like meals and fashion, and the team loves it. It is definitely more of a way of life for this generation. And I love it. I embrace it.
Absolutely. And I think it's so great that you work among people that are bringing all of that to you and like you see it firsthand. So that's awesome. There are a lot of stereotypes about women and the way that they handle money. Like maybe, oh, she's a woman, she's bad with numbers. We've heard so many of them. If there was one stereotype that you just want to never hear again, pretend never happened, what would it be and why?
I think going back to the women aren't good with money or they're not good with math. I think that everyone assumes that you need to be a mathlete to be good with money. And what I have found, because I needed to get to the bottom of it, I actually went and had an aptitude test done in Atlanta. All day testing. You pick up little metal tweezers, you write things, like it's an all day process to figure out how your brain works and aptitudes. And what came from that is that I actually cannot do math in my head and I cannot remember numbers, but I'm a financial advisor.
Yeah.
So for me, what I scored really high on was the ability to take the result of the word or the equation and translate it into a story, into something, like make meaning of it. So in my firm, I have a lot of former CPAs. They do math in their head, but then when the client asks a question, the client does not understand what they hear from the CPA advisor. So going back to women and the stereotypes, women, just our brains work differently than men. We can multitask, think strategically about things. So the world of math, just like the world of wealth management, was built by men for men. So the way that women think about math and money is different. And we just need a more inclusive, well-rounded conversation around that, because there is plenty of room for women to bring their skill set into the money conversation.
Love that. And I would say this isn't really a stereotype, but I hate like hearing jokes or like on Instagram or social media about women like hiding their Target bags or their Amazon packages from their husbands. And it's like, hey, how about we own the fact that we are smart women who know what we need? I know so many female breadwinners even who like feel the need to like monitor their spending around their spouses. And the relationship is built on trust, that like my husband trusts that I know what I need and I trust that he knows what he needs. And if we, as long as we are staying fully budget, we're not going to have the other person about that.
I think women get labeled as they're hiding things. And really what I think they're doing is they're trying to preserve their dignity, because the people around them don't understand the pressure to look a certain way or, live a life that is aligned with their values. And so, maybe they have a secret credit card, that they find a way to pay off, but it's not because they show up wanting to lie, it's because they're trying to preserve their dignity and live the way that they want to live.
Absolutely. And I feel like a lot of women also know all these like societal stereotypes that have been placed upon them. So it's almost like a defense mechanism, sort of, but they're smart. And that just goes to show like they understand what the narrative is. And so I think what you guys are doing is so great, bringing that sense of empowerment back to them and telling them they can own it, you know? Thank you for listening to my interview with Lauren and Teresa. I hope you learned so much about what they do, were inspired by them, and I was inspired by them. So what I wanted to do today now is talk about some of the purchases that I've made. And I actually did this by way of Instagram. I literally went on my Instagram and I was like, did I buy that? Like, was this a purchase? Like, did I purchase that vacation? Like, where was I there? And I just thought about in the past, like 4 or 5 years, what I've bought. And I've deemed it in order to learn, because as Lauren and Teresa mentioned, like learning is a huge part of managing our finances, right? I deemed things either big investments I've made that I would say were investments because they were worth it versus impulse splurges. And I had a lot of impulse splurges on the list. And I think that it is going to teach me to be smarter when it comes to spending money. Now, I do not shop a lot. That is part, like, to be completely transparent, that is part of being an editor. I'm testing a lot of products a lot of the time. I'm writing about things. Sometimes I do keep those things. And other times it's not even that I'm keeping them, but that I wore something. And if I give it back, which does happen very often, I don't feel like I need to shop more. I can't explain it, but it's like having access to that new thing, whatever it may be, even for a brief period of time, is almost like fulfilling. And it would be, I've been an editor for so long, and I think it would be weird for me to like go back to have to shopping again for things like beauty and fashion sort of pieces. But I do think that, I obviously still buy things. Bags is one of the things on the list. And I think that I don't think enough when it comes to shopping about what I'm actually doing. So we're going to backtrack through some of the things. I'm actually going to Atlantic City this weekend. So that I deemed an impulse splurge. I don't do that often. I love Atlantic City. I really like playing blackjack. I'm really into it. I taught Nick how to play, and he plays with me, and we absolutely love it. It's kind of less of like a gambling thing that we like. Like, we don't like the idea of being able to win money. I personally like it. If you know me, you're going to be like, this is so Sarah. But I like the atmosphere of sitting at a table, getting to know the people around you. I just love people. Maybe having a drink and like talking. And when the table is winning against the dealer, it's really fun. I don't need to make excuses for my impulse splurge, so I'm sorry about that. But Atlantic City to me is an impulse splurge. I do not gamble with a lot of money. When I take out money in order to go to Atlantic City, I have the full knowledge that like I am going to lose this money. I don't think of it like I need to win and make money on this money, because I know that the chances of that are very slim, especially with like the amount of money that I'm actually playing with, because it's not a lot. It's just for fun. I would say that's an impulse splurge, and that's why I'm proud to say that I only do it maybe twice a year, maybe once a year. I'm not going there all the time. I'm not gambling all the time, but it is something that is an impulse. This podcast and all the money that I've spent on it was a big investment. Oh my God, I have so many things. I purchased that ring light. I purchased all of these things that make you be able to hear my voice and see me and be able to see myself while I'm recording. So I know that if I'm running out of battery, all of these things I've purchased, and they were worth it. I have paid for promotional things when we released our sizzle reel or whatever, because I want people to know about the podcast. And I feel like that's an investment because I know that Megan and I are making a good thing. So I called that an investment. I also looked at my Disney trips. Now, Disney trips to me are an investment in memories and spending time with people that I absolutely love. Coupled with this, I will say, is also going on like big, expensive trips. Like I went to Croatia to explore and see the world, and to Greece. I think it's so important to understand cultures all over the world. Those are big trips. The price you pay for a plane ticket, the price you pay to stay wherever you're going to stay, Airbnb, hotel, it's expensive. You have to buy food when you're there. It's expensive, but you are supporting another economy. You might be supporting a small business while you're there. All of these things are beneficial if you really break them down, but you're also investing in learning about the rest of the world. Disney is not so much that, but Disney is something that's very important to my family. I was raised as a Disney adult, aka a Disney freak, and the memories that I make there, the joy that I share with my family when I'm there is worth the investment to me. So that's just kind of two very different types of trips, but things that I consider big investments in my life. The other thing I will say is that I was talking about this the other day with people at work, but I have a Visa Disney credit card. And when I make either my impulse splurges or my big investments, I do get money back, Disney dollars, that I then get to spend at Disney with my family. So I think this like goes into, the conversation that you just listened to with Teresa and Lauren. I thought about my investment in Disney and I thought, well, how can I like maximize, what potential do I have to earn back on that investment, and that's my Disney credit card. And now every time I go to Disney, when I'm buying things that make my family happy, I mean, it might surprise them with like something, or I'm just thinking of like this beanie that Nick and I bought for Rachel when we were there. I'm using my Disney dollars, and that's because I splurged and then had money to spend on others. Okay. So we talked about the vacations, my hair. I will say that my journey with my hair, if you haven't watched Bagels and Botched Hair, it's one of my favorite episodes. Go back and watch it. It talks all about my hair journey and just how much I've fucked up my hair through the years. I will say that I impulse splurged on my hair far too many times. Do I think it's a good thing to invest in your hair, to find a good hairstylist and work with that hairstylist on styles that make you feel good and confident? Yes, I absolutely do. But I impulse splurged one too many times where people were like, oh, I'm going to make you blonde right now. And then that didn't really work. So I needed to get a treatment to help. If you listen to Bagels and Botched Hair, you will find out how much I spent on my hair. But right now, I'm in a really good place. I love my hairstylist, Fendi. She's in Brooklyn. DM me and I'll tell you all about her. And I think that I am managing my money when it comes to focusing on my hair in a very smart way. But that is something that I had to learn for sure. Another thing that was an impulse splurge for me was my apartment after my breakup. For those who don't know, I had a very long relationship. It was 8 years and I was engaged, and I had moved out to Indiana where great things happen. I met like my today best friend, but the relationship didn't work out. And when I had to move back to New Jersey, when the relationship didn't work out, I was in like fight or flight mode. It was also an abusive relationship, which I talk about a lot. You can just go on my Instagram and like scroll and you'll find some articles I've written about it, some talks I've even shared about it. But because of that, because I was in fight or flight mode and I was in a very emotional place in my life, I impulse splurged on an apartment that I could not afford. I lived there for a year. I wasted a lot of money, too much money on rent, living in a small studio apartment just so that I could have a doorman. I could have a great packaging system because as part of my job, I get so many packages, laundry in unit, a place for Trish to look out the window. And I didn't have Kit at that time, but I got her when I was living in that apartment. And I very quickly realized that this was an apartment that I couldn't afford once it got down to it. I had already spent so much money on picking up all my shit and leaving Indy and coming back to Jersey. I was only going to spend more money once I got to Jersey and New York, where everything's more expensive, right? So I knew I had to make a change. So that impulse splurge I quickly fixed. And the next year I went to an apartment that I could afford. Maybe much to Trish and Kit's dismay or not, I'm not sure. I think that they really liked both of my apartments before living here. But I would call that an impulse splurge because I didn't really think it through. I didn't really learn how to manage my finances properly at that time. All I cared about was getting out of the situation I was in and into one where I could honestly like live like a 30-year-old woman as quickly as possible. And we've all been there. I know that. Okay. Another big investment for me is working out. I pay for Solid Core. I don't even need to tell you how much Solid Core is. You just look it up online. It's far too expensive when compared to like other things you do. So I have Planet Fitness membership so that I can run on the tread in the winter, okay? I have the Solid Core membership and I pay for Peloton. I love Peloton. My sister also works for Peloton. Peloton is a great thing. I don't consider these impulse splurges. I thought about maybe putting Solid Core on the impulse splurge list because it is a workout that I don't have to be doing. However, I think that when something is as important to you as working out and it affects your mental health, which for me, working out does, it makes me a happier person. It makes me a nicer person to be around. It is considered an investment. I am investing in a lifestyle, yes, but also in my happiness. So for me, at least for right now, my Salad Core membership is a 12 month commitment. I can decide after 12 months if I still want to continue making that investment or if I want to switch it up and maybe save. I can monitor it. So while I did think about the fact that it was so fucking expensive, I made some other adjustments in my life elsewhere so that I could afford it because I knew how happy it made me and how strong I feel after I go to Salad Core. And then, the Planet Fitness membership, obviously I didn't join Equinox, knew I was joining Salad Core. I thought about, well, where can I join that's super affordable? It's $16 a month. And then Peloton is $44 a month. And hopefully they don't raise that. Peloton. That was a call out to you, or a shout out to Rachel. Rachel, let them know. And then, okay, something else. I'm almost done here. I have 3 more actually. My birthday trip. I didn't know if I should put this in the impulse or the investment category. I had a birthday trip, which was supposed to be my bachelorette party, very soon after my engagement broke off. I thought about this. I think I'm going to say that was an impulse. I should have canceled it. I felt like I needed my friends in that moment, so it became a 30th birthday party for me because I also happened to be turning 30. I love the memories that I made there. I could have made those memories with my friends when I got home or later on in life. And I think that for how much I spent, I really wanted all my friends to come. So my sister and I kind of like split the balance between the two of us after what everyone else had paid. So I did end up spending a lot of money on that. I think I should have thought about if that was best for me in that moment in time or if I could have waited. I think that's a situation where I could have waited. Finally, my bags are so important to me. This is Fashion File rented. Another great way to manage your spending because you are paying a certain amount of money a month to rent a bag, so much more affordable. But the bags that I have invested in with my paychecks, I've got like 4 or 5 of them that I would say were very big purchases. I consider those investments because you can always resell a bag. You can make a lot of money on reselling a bag or even joining one of the rental apps. If you haven't, listen to all of my episodes about rental apps. We have tons of content there for you. But there are ways to make money and get a return on designer bags. I would consider them investments. Less so shoes because shoes do wear with time. But my bags, I think, are investments to me. They also make me happy. I also love fashion, clearly, or I wouldn't have invested this fucking much in the podcast. Expensive dinners for no reason. Those are impulse splurges. And I didn't even really have to say that out loud because it's so obvious. I think that a lot of the time it is great to go out to dinner or treat yourself when you're celebrating something. But a lot of the time, because I love food so much, my dinner in a Fitz, you see them on the feed, I choose the more expensive restaurant for the atmosphere and the vibe where I could be making better decisions. So when I thought about that, I was like, this is a way for me to take pause and kind of like reconsider, what I want to spend on in the future. And maybe tonight it's not going to the super expensive restaurant and, making myself a meal. Okay. Now we are going to try our food and we're going to listen to our next round of shoe therapy. Okay. So let me go grab the food. I'll be right back. Okay. So, super important is that Lauren's favorite food is steak and truffle butter. That's what I got today. And Teresa's favorite food is authentic Neapolitan pizza with a glass of Bordeaux. Okay, I went for the steak, and I'll tell you why. I was looking around, as I typically do, about like all of the different places that I could order from, right? And I was like, what would maybe have good steak with truffle butter? And what would be like good pizza? Also, do I want a glass of wine while I'm recording in the morning? Whatever. I found, oh my God, this smells fucking delicious, that the Brick Fire Baked Pizza, which is in Hoboken, and I actually had never heard of it before, makes an incredible steak with truffle. And it's over fries and grilled onions. And it looks fucking delicious. I'm surprised the cats are not coming over here. You guys don't want some nummy? But I thought that was the perfect marriage, the perfect meet you in the middle because we got steak from a pizza place and I did also wear Teresa's beloved jacket. She loves jackets. I hope she liked my Abercrombie and Fitch one. All right, you're going to listen to my shoe therapy call and then I'm going to give you advice and I'm going to tell you how I like the food. Hi, welcome to the Dinner for Shoes Shoe Therapy Hotline, where you can leave a message seeking shopping advice or my feedback on outfit dilemmas, or share a funny story that relates to something you saw on the podcast or something you didn't see on the podcast. Your message just might make it into the next episode. Bye.
Hey Zara, I know you probably have a lot of people calling in, but my name is Beck, and I love listening to Dinner for Shoes, but I need your shoe therapy right now because I think my boyfriend is about to propose, and I have no idea what to wear. So here's the thing. He's super romantic, always goes all out, and he told me we have big plans on Valentine's Day. And yeah, we do something for Valentine's Day, but it's never been like a go all out kind of thing, you know? So now I'm spiraling because why would he suddenly want to make it a thing after 6 years unless he wants to make it a thing, you know? And if it's happening, I need to be ready. Also, do I get my nails done just in case? Because I don't want him to know that I know. If I know. I don't even know if I know. I don't get my nails done often. Like, what's the protocol here? What if I dress too fancy and it's just dinner? But what if I don't dress up and it's a proposal? Okay, help me. That's all. Thanks. Bye.
Okay. So I love her already and I want to be her friend because I too am an overthinker, and she is clearly an overthinker and spiraling, as people do when they think they're going to get proposed to, right? First of all, I just want to say this steak is very, very good. A really good skirt steak. The truffle butter on top is amazing. It was almost like I just had to take that bite to speak with my mouth full just to like stay true to my reputation. There are also grilled mushrooms in here that have that like truffle-y butter on top of them, and they really make it. I also made sure to take a bite of the French fry just underneath, and I want to say this. I normally, when it comes to like eating good steak, I really like a porterhouse for two or whatever. I will eat the steak and then I'll separately eat my potatoes. But having had that like sandwich effect of the steak and the fry and the mushrooms and the onions, this is amazing. And I love that. Maybe it's a little bit chewy for me, to be honest. I want to be honest. I'm always honest in my reviews. But let me get into answering Beth's shoe therapy question. Okay. I want to start by saying when women or anyone dress up in like white when they think they're being proposed to, I don't know why, like it kind of rubs me the wrong way. I also just like don't like tradition. And I feel that people get too focused on traditions when they're planning their weddings or planning like little events that go with their weddings. I personally like the idea of doing something that speaks more to your personality. And I don't know why, but when I was kind of scrolling and shopping for looks that like I would personally want to be wearing when I got proposed to, I really leaned, and maybe it's because of the look I'm wearing today, towards like this sophisticated vibe. Like, I'm old, I'm mature, I have the maturity to say yes to someone and know what that means, right? So I don't know why, but lately I've been really into Verge Girl. Verge Girl is a brand that's pretty affordable, and I have some looks if you really do want to wear white. I really like their Lulu mini dress. I think it's very sophisticated, it's simple, great for going out at night, and that's, a white look. But I also really like they have this jeanie vest and skirt situation. It's like a chartreuse, it's like a chartreuse color, almost like the light lemon yellow that I'm wearing today, or banana yellow, whatever you want to call it. And I think this is really cool and sophisticated and something that I would wear if I thought maybe I was being proposed to, because it speaks to my personality and who I am. I think you want to feel like yourself when it comes to all of your wedding events. And I think that that's something that people get wrong quite often. So that is my recommendation. Now, if you wanted something a little bit more celebratory and you did know that you were going out to a fancy dinner, like let's say Beth knows that she's going somewhere and I don't know, her partner says, I really want you to dress up. I'm obsessed with this Eloquii Kate Spade, New York, floral sequin maxi dress. This is stunning. I think it's really good for Valentine's Day too. It has flowers on it. It's got bows. You can wear them just tied or in like really beautiful bows. bows, like big, like fluffy bows. I just think this is so cool. I also think it's still sophisticated enough where it's like, yes, I have the maturity to say yes to someone. I also love the idea of pants. I'm a pants person. I love suit sets. So I wanted to recommend the Reformation Sailor two-piece. You can either get it in black currant or in gray pinstripe. I think this is really sexy in its own light and really sophisticated. I also really like this House of CB long sleeve dress. February is colder depending on where you are in the world. I like that it has like these makeshift pockets and a mock neck with long sleeves. I think it looks really good with tights and like a black pump or slingback, or literally the shoes I'm wearing today. So I really like House of CB. I also finally want to recommend Ray. If you want to be comfortable and you're one of those people that like movable, comfortable looks, I think this Sabrina pant and Sabrina off the shoulder top in champagne shimmer, they also have it in a black, is super cool. And it also is just like really flattering. So I like that too. For nails, I did also want to mention that I really like just neutral. Neutral will not surprise. I picked two examples, one of which are actually stick-on nails that I think are really cool. I also have like a brown nail going on right now, so I like that as a nude. Like there are all different shades of nude, and this is like my favorite. It's got like a little shimmer going on. I'm really into that right now just for this month in particular. So those are my recommendations. I think there's a way to like get your nails done without it seeming like you got them done on purpose. If you always keep your nails bare and you never get them done, like why do you need to? Like why do you feel like you want to see your hand in a different way than it will normally look wearing that ring? You know what I mean? And on that note, I'm going to have a fry because like, let's just keep being us, you know? Anyway, I want to dip this in the truffle butter. Oh, yes. I hope that you learned a lot from Teresa and Lauren. I hope that you're inspired to either take their course or to think more carefully about your spendings and how you manage your money. Remember that by 2030, women will control $34 trillion in US assets. Tell everybody you know. Shop Ritani for your jewelry. This episode has been brought to you by Ritani. We love you and we will see you soon. Bye.